Welcome to the show, everyone. Tonight we're going to discuss our upcoming playoff opponent, Coach, Colonel Crawford Eagles. We're also going to recap last week's Shadyside game, and we got some special guests for you tonight, Coach. I think this is going to be a darn good episode.
It sure is. Yeah,
best one.
I can't wait to hear.
Best one yet. But before we get into all that good stuff, Coach, got off to a pretty quick start against Shadyside last Friday night. Got up early and we did lost score.
Yeah. I kind of told the kids all week that I thought Shadyside was a team kind of on the rise. I wanted to be ready mentally and execute well. And I really thought we came out both sides of the ball. Executed well on offense and defense. We had some turnovers in the beginning, interception down on their end of the field, so that was a quick score. And then we had a punt return, 71-yard punt return from Cooper, so the special teams were clicking there in the beginning. So, I think we jumped on them. I think it took a little wind down their sail. But no, overall, executed well on both sides of the ball. Offensively, we had about 330 yards total offense. A.J. Rutter had 2 rushing touchdowns, so he was the leader in rushing, had 9 carries for 90 yards. Tucker threw for 10 times for 109 yards and two touchdowns, both went to Chance Allen, so they both had a pretty nice evening. And then defensively, one of our best games really. They had 36 plays for a total of 50 yards, so
It's crazy.
yeah, that's pretty darn good. 50 yards and 0 points, so like I said, that was one of our best defensive performances, so hopefully that's kind of the way we're going to keep going. Wyatt did an excellent job, 7 for 7 on extra points, and then he also kicked a 38-yard field goal.
That thing would have been good for 45.
I believe so. So that was the first field goal we've had since 2011. Jimmy Baker was the last kid to kick a field goal for us. Yeah, so that's a long time ago. So that's something special, and we've talked about Wyatt a couple times, but that just shows that all that hard work paying off for that kid. I was so happy when it went through. I wasn't sure if he could make it. First time he's kicked a field goal in a game, we tried to Frontier, but we had a bad snap. So he did a great job kicking off too. We had good coverage. Jonah Morton had one tackle inside the 20 and one right at the 20. So just an overall good night on all 3 phases of football.
Yeah, Jonah's really starting to shine.
He is on special teams.
He's a good athlete.
Yeah.
And jokingly, I said after Wyatt kicked that 38-yarder, I said he's going to enter the portal and go somewhere where there's some turf, Coach.
Yeah, that's true. He kept saying, "Boy, Coach, I really like this turf." And I'm thinking, well, we don't have turf, so don't like it too much.
Yeah. Yeah, speaking of Wyatt, Coach, there's been some great individual performances this season. And we stress team, team effort, team wins, and what have you, but, you can't lose track of what kids have done individually. And there were some records broken Friday night as well.
Yeah, and like you said, it's a team game, and we stress team goals, team wins. But these kids work hard, and they I shouldn't say want the personal goals. They never mention it. They don't know anything about this. Really, it's more me keeping track of it. But it's a nice thing, if you can break a record that stood for 20 or 30 years, things like that. And it goes to show you the hard work that these kids have been putting in. But yeah, we broke Tucker Howe became the all-time single-season passing leader in school history, Monroe Central Woodsfield school history. Broke Coach Nixon's record, so that was pretty good. Corbin Farnsworth, first year he comes out as a sophomore, hadn't played in a long time. He breaks the all-time single-season leader in sacks with 16. He had 16 so far this season. The record was 15, and that was a 1991 record. Chad West had that record. And then Wyatt became the all-time single-season leader in extra points. So far he has 45 extra points, and 39 was the record held by Derek Durkis, clear back in 2009. So, yeah, and then we also, as a team, beat the most points ever scored in regular season. That was 2009. They scored 390 points, and I don't even know how many. We have like 400 and something, a bunch. But yeah, it's great to see, like you said. And the thing is, like I mentioned, these kids don't talk about that. They just want to win games. They're happy to get them, of course, but they never stress it. They don't say much about it. They're out to get wins for the team.
Yeah, great for those 3 kids, because I guess if I had to pick 3 kids off the team that wouldn't say a word about any of that, it'd be those 3.
Yep.
Corbin's record set in 1991.
Yeah.
That was our sophomore
I
year.
know. Yeah, it was. That's what I say. A lot of these records are old, and it's great to see that. And you're right about it. Those 3 kids have been very humble.
Yeah,
I mean, Wyatt kicked that field goal, and he jumped up and down a little bit, and then he just walked off like it was no big deal. You know what I mean? I think I was more excited than he was. Maybe I don't know, but very humble kids, and just glad that that they put the work in, and the work is repaying them.
Yeah, we explained to the chain gang that, hey, this kid's this is his first year kicking, he's never attempted through field goal. It's not like we're trying to run the score.
Right.
They're the ones that turned around when it went through the uprights and said, heck, that could have that'd been good for 45.
That's right.
Yeah. But great performance, Coach, and what a way to end it, to finish the regular season with a dominating win.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Listen, Shadyside's in the playoffs as well.
Yeah.
It's not like they were a pushover going in.
Right.
We just dominated from the first snap and never took our foot off the gas.
That's right.
That's what we need to do tomorrow night.
We sure do.
Perfect. Okay, we'll be right back with tomorrow night's guest. This is going to be a good one, folks. The Monroe Central football coaching staff. Welcome back, everyone. We're here with our only guest of the evening, Monroe Central coaching staff. With me tonight, Coach Longwell, Coach George, Coach Shoemaker, Coach Acosta, Coach Sherman, Coach Stevens, and Coach Nixon. Welcome to the show, fellas.
Thank you.
Good to have you. TJ, let's start off to you first. Last Friday night, Coach Acosta gave you an attaboy for what you've done for the youth football programs. And for all you guys that don't know TJ all that well, he didn't get all that many attaboys from Coach back in high school. TJ played with a lot of heart, and sometimes he played with more heart than the referees would allow him to play with. So Coach had to give him some constructive criticism several times. Look at him now. TJ, if you would, discuss some of your involvement in the state youth program here in Litchfield.
Probably the last 6 years, I've been involved with running the youth program. We only had about 29 kids through grades 3 through 6. This year we ended up with about 68 total. We played in both championship games down there, 2 out of the last 3 years, with winning 2 out of the 4. So right now I think the youth program's in good hands, numbers are good. Kids they seem to be sticking it out.
Yeah, Coach Acosta and I actually talked about that Friday night. Winning football games, and Monroe Central is a prime example. Winning football games brings interest to kids. They want to be a part of it. So fantabulous job you're doing there, and congratulations to the 3rd and 4th graders who lost by 1 point, right? Final seconds.
Yeah.
Heartbreaker, and the 5th and 6th grade won the championship, so congratulations to all you kids, all you parents. TJ, let's talk a little bit about special teams.
Yeah, Coach Calder come to me and asked this year with Coach Hooper stepping down if I would be interested in doing it. And I've stepped in and done it. He helps out because I still call the offense for the junior high on Thursday nights. So Thursday nights are walkthrough nights, so he kind of gets to put his motion on a Thursday night, and then Friday afternoon I get to find out if he changed anything.
Yeah, it's great to see guys like Chow and Howard flying around out there on the field. Great players, love to hit, and we got one heck of a kicker too.
Yeah, Wyatt's come in and done a nice job this year. Beginning of last year we didn't have one, and we struggled with some field position in the beginning of the year. And we've got that turned around. Stopping them inside the 30 instead of the 50s, that's a whole new ballgame.
Yeah, Coach and I talked about that as well. When you can drive that ball down there to the 5-yard line or so and trip him up to 20, that's a game changer. There were times last year, early part of the season, that they were starting on their 40 or 45. You know, we're giving them 2 or 3 first downs before the first snap. And you know, kudos to Wyatt too. He's a great kid. We had him on the show a couple weeks ago, and really unique. Found out he actually lives in where my grandparents lived when I was growing up as a kid. And you know, the kid worked 2 jobs and was out here every Sunday with Ian Phillips and practicing. And great kid. Let's touch base on the offensive line improvement since week 1. I know, you know, against Belpre we had some mistakes that we don't see in week 10. You know, it was a bumpy road there for a while, but we've seen great improvement.
Yeah, I mean, we got 2 good leaders in Billy Kroll and Andrew Peckinpah. They do a pretty good job up front. And, you know, the younger guys are coming along. But that week 1, you know, there was some missed blocking assignments. To me, it's not that they didn't know what to do. I think it's just first game, real live game action. You know, and then a couple times this year we rushed for over 300 yards. So
Yeah.
they've come a long way throughout the season. Hopefully they're ready Friday night.
Yeah, we've definitely put up some big offensive numbers without that line. That wouldn't happen.
Yeah,
Speaking of offense, Curtis, playbook, buddy, you got some weapons out there on offense. You know, Chance, and you know, we lost Carter last year, and Chance has filled those shoes, and we lost Landon as well last year to graduation, and then Corbin Farnsworth's doing a great job. So you got all kind of talent out there.
Yeah, losing Carter and Landon, we knew we had big shoes to, you know, fill. Having first-year players like Chance and Corbin come out and make the impact they've done, I think they've done a fantastic job. You know, shout out to Corbin. He never leaves the field on offense. He's out there every play. We don't really have a second why, and he gets it. He's picking up on it, and by now he should. I mean, he does it. Like I said, he doesn't come off the field. And we got people like Max. He played a lot of JV in the scout team last year, and I feel like he's coming along great this year, and I think that helps. So having all those weapons is really nice to have, and there's really, going into each week, nothing that I feel like we can't do as long as we execute, do the little things. And our receivers, we have, like, with a quarterback like Tucker, I feel like he's got weapons all over the place. We can be successful with whatever we want to do.
Yes, that brings me to my next point. You know, when Coach Calder took over, you got kind of full range of this offense. You know, and you're able to make all the calls. Explain that, how that's changed for you.
You know, last year I was a little slow getting into it, figuring out like situations, what to do, and that, I mean, sitting in a press box, you know, helping out with the offense my first 5 years as best I could. You know, I got to watch a lot of things and do see things that I wanted to do. Now that I got the play calling abilities from Coach Calder, I mean, he still helps me out a lot, but I try to do things like I see that tape and I watch a lot of film. Coach Calder likes to run the ball a lot. You know, I try to stay behind that. You know, the kids are always telling me, hey, let's throw the ball. I'm like, guys, let's score. We're up 52-0. I'm like, can't do that now. You know, play calling has been a lot of fun. You know, like I said, with the weapons we have, there's really nothing I feel like can't call and not execute.
I hang out on the sidelines a lot with Coach Sherman. Let me tell you, you throw people.
I hear that a lot.
Their last home game, you come out at halftime, so they told me they were going to run the ball 2 out of the first 3 plays were passes.
I hear Coach Sherman about twice a game, pound the ball.
He actually told me Friday night, he said, he yelled, pound the ball, and I walked up to him and said, Dad, I've listened to you all year. He said, I know. Last question for you, Curtis. I know you guys watched a lot of film on Colonel Crawford. What kind of problems do you see maybe they could pose defensively?
You know, I think just going into the playoffs, we got to know there's no bad teams anymore. They got some speed. I think they're up front. They're going to be physical. I mean, we learned that last year in the playoffs. Teams in playoffs are going to be physical, and I think our line needs to come out and realize that. Our backers got to get their reads right, and our secondary's got to know what they're doing, what their zone is. You know, just come out and be physical.
Line, that's you, TJ.
They better be ready.
I'm ready. All right, Marcus. Explain to us a little bit how much Coach Sherman has helped you defensively these past couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Sherman is obviously a very tenured coach. He's very successful. It's the type of guy you want to learn from when you're starting out as a coordinator for the first time. you know, I consider, like when I started to think about what kind of coach I want to be, I try to steal something good about every coach I've had. And some of the good things I felt like that stood out to me from Coach Sherman's time as a coach was just like, you know, his discipline. The guy's thorough. When he does something, he's doing it the right way. He's picking through the details. He's in film study. He's writing down every little thing. His intensity, his emphasis on physicality. I mean, those are things that are givens, and that's what you want in the defense is guys that know what's going on, guys that are going to hit. So, I mean, I really couldn't ask for a better mentor coming in. High school's not Little League, and it's not college. It's got its own little niche of kind of like what kids are able to do, what they're able to comprehend as far as like the sophistication of a game. And I think that, you know, I learned a lot from him as far as like, you know, where do you attack the teaching? Because you can't expect high school kids to do college schemes. You can't expect high school kids to be able to have, you know, 11 great athletes that are just like gifted to be 6'3" and, you know, 250 pounds. So a lot of those little things like that were really, really valuable. And then of course just, you know, guidance, play calling and things like that, which was very new to me.
Be very good. I know there's been some big differences this year in our defense as compared to years past. Can you go over a few of those improvements that you made since week 1 against Belfast?
Yeah, I mean, last year I think everybody knew that we just weren't quite physical enough, and you know, we found out pretty quick in the playoffs that it's going to be the determining factor of how successful we are and how far we go in a season. You know, we saw a lot better physicality this year out of the guys. I think 2 years in a similar system really helped them. And the simplicity of the system that we run, I think, helps those guys be able to just kind of play ball. I think they've gotten better at just being football players, honestly. I don't know that we've taken a ton of leaps and bounds as far as like, you know, we still got to get better about a lot of things, but I really feel like our guys are just used to playing football and playing it the right way, more so, and just improving every week on the little things.
Yeah, it's good to see too that you've got the guys to run in and out. So Stiver and Chow and Howard, you know, give some of those guys a breather out there as well. Colonel Crawford, what are some of the problems they could pose to your defense?
Yeah, so I mean, they're a heavy run team. It's something, you know, we've struggled with. I think everybody's noticed that in the past. And then, so this year, there's been times where we struggled against big physical teams, and that's what they are. I mean, they're going to pull and they're going to hit you and come after you, and they're not going to stop. They're not going to give up. So our guys got to just dig deep, and we got to play tough, physical, and disciplined football. And honestly, if we can take them out of that run game, I think we're in a good spot there. But it's just, you know, teams that like to run the ball, they won't let it go. If they're successful, they're going to keep pounding it.
Congratulations to Corbin Farnsworth as well for setting that record last Friday. Got his 16th sack. That record was set in 1991, over 30 years ago. And for a kid to come in that hadn't played high school football before and play defensive end like he is, he's quick, he's smart, intelligent, and understands the game. I know we talked earlier when he was on the show. You know, Coach Calder said that he just picks up things so quickly.
Yeah.
So congratulations to Corbin. Michael. You're kind of the eye in the sky up there in the press box. Nobody even knows you're up there.
That's right. I'm getting better.
I know.
I'm getting better. Quiet.
I'll give you my headset Friday.
I've heard of yell for you a few times. Watch this guy or that guy. Explain your duties up there in the press box.
Well, I'll tell you, back in the day, whenever I first started and got into this, Coach Costa put me on the press box, and I'm not going to lie, I hated it. I don't know, there's just something about being around the players and, you know, being down there and being able to communicate with them that I feel is an important aspect. I mean, obviously you have a staff, you got guys on your staff that can do that, so I'm not needed to do that. I will say the biggest difference now is technology with Huddle and what do we call our skyscraper? What is that called? The L22 film. So now I'm up there, so it's really a benefit to the fans, the people I'm sitting with, and I'm up there with an iPad with the camera, so I can watch, you know, the instantly after they happen, which allows me to, I guess, remain calm.
To miss a lot of the game.
Yeah, to miss a lot of the game. But no, honestly, that has been a blessing. I enjoy that. I think it's, it helped. That allows me to go to communicate now with staff. If I see anything, if I don't see anything, just, the feeling I'm getting about kind of what's going on, maybe give a few, a word here and there on what I think maybe we should try. Sometimes I'll probably say too much what I think we should try, but that's just part of it. It's just part of the game, part of the passion for the game. But no, it's been great. I'm more of like an advisor I just kind of hang out and look and see what's happening. But thank God for technology.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, it only makes sense, because you played football for a lot of years. You were very, very successful in high school and went on to win the national championship at Mount Union. So I'm sure kids enjoy having you around, and I'm sure you're helping these coaches as well. But that's not the only coach. Coach flag football too, don't you?
Yeah.
How's that going?
Yeah, I was a rookie flag football coach this year. But no, it was a great experience. And obviously, my son Boone, he's in kindergarten, so he decided he wanted to play, and I mean, fortunately, he's all about it. So not only him, but just I think it's important for the community. It's important for our program. It's important for our high school program. I mean, that's where it starts. Over the years, there's been some struggles here and there, but in my opinion, building from the ground up, which is what we're trying to do, is the best thing that we can do, and to, get these kids involved any way that we can, whether it be just a little flag football game. I mean, I know it firsthand because I go home, after a game with Boone, and he tells me, Dad, did you, I caught this, or I almost pulled this flag, or I'm like, Boone, that guy ran right by you and just scored a touchdown. He's like, he doesn't get, he's clueless, but he also says things, tonight he's like downside up, he's in a stance. So the younger we can get these kids learning those things, the better the program is going to be in the future. So it's really is a great thing.
Yeah, it's great to see. We come out here and we usually film on, or try to film, and we step foot outside, and there's, I don't know, 40, 50, 60 little kids out there playing flag football, And,
Yeah.
We draw a big crowd.
Yeah.
It's like parking's almost like a high school football game,
Yeah.
actually. Okay, Brian, explain to us this utility trailer, buddy, or this equipment trailer, because it is freaking
It's all
fabulous, man. When I come off the hill there at Frontier, and I look down there and seen it. I might have seen it before, but looking at it from a distance, that thing's bad.
Yeah, when I first started up here coaching, the first time I ever rode a school bus once, and I said, never doing that again. And then I got one of these yellow or whatever kind of they call that equipment vans that the school gives you. I said, well, I'm going to do that anymore either. So it ended up, I've always drove to the games, and as the program kind of grew, it just made it more cleaner to have something just to put everything in and have that flexibility, and or take the water machine with us, our redneck water cart, however they want to call it. It just makes everything a lot easier. So then we were down, I want to say at the scrimmage last year, and Waterford pulled up another trailer, not quite as nice as ours, but not get into that.
It's not.
But it's wrapped. So the kids start on me, they start saying, hey, boys, listen, so I bought the trailer. So you have to talk to somebody else, and thankfully the savings bank, you stepped in and wrapped it for us. So that's for the program to use until the wheels fall off.
Perfect, buddy. Well, thanks for your donation. And Tracy and Woodsville Savings Bank, thank you guys too. This thing looks excellent. It's sharp, very, very sharp. Junior high football, head coach, pretty successful season for sure.
I mean, I took over a group that didn't coach the right way. I'm sure a lot of them boys snuck into some third grade practices when they were in second. So it was a little different group of eighth graders. Last year I ended up, routinely I went up and tried to help junior high just in any way possible the last couple of years. This little group they just got inside of me. They had a different, just a different look to them, and like it was all about football. There was no excuses with them. That just comes from coming through the program and having TJ and Coach Kaiser and those guys, and Coach Fry, coach them up. We were fortunate those guys were able to help me this year, in addition to Coach Nolan, Coach Hogue, and Coach Fry. So we also, Coach Wilson was able to help us when he was around. So it was a pretty cool thing to do. We just, like we talked about when I told them last year when the kids were asking me about me coming back. I said, well, we're going to do what we do, right? And you know what that is, and the kids know what that is, and we're going to come to town and do what we do. So that's what this program is and has been, and that's just what we continue on.
Yeah. kind of gives me chills, just flag football and then youth league going as well as they did, and for the junior high to do as well as they did, and this future's bright for certain, without a doubt. Brian, before we move on to the next person, give us your thoughts on this 9-1 regular season so far.
It's going to be similar to what's came up. It's a long ride back from Eastern for those that didn't make the trip last year. And, we knew that we were a different, better football team than we had been. We did not know what the big stage, what that was like. Well, Eastern introduced us to that. So regardless of what you do, especially these days with the 16-team playoff, you're all going to spend the same amount of time. So what do you want to do with it? So that whole entire ride back, that whole entire off season, every time we was texting each other, it's physical. And we started that in, anyhow, it was, from day one, it was a lot different as far as our mindset and how we talked to the kids and what we expected out of them. This is what we're going to do. You remember how they kicked our butt? Well, that's what we're going to do. And that's the biggest transition I've seen. So I kind of knew right then. I was like, hey, and of course, obviously there's Tucker and there's other stuff, but I knew right there, I was like, I think the big boys are ready to take that step and actually control both sides of the ball from on the line. So 9-1 doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, you won a lot of football games in town, but it takes a lot more.
Yeah, when you got linemen down the field, having 25, 30 yards trying to get somebody, get a little piece of something, that's like music to my ears when I see people down there wanting to get it that way. And a lot of times the highlights in here, you will notice that too. There's guys clear down the field getting some, so that's been the biggest change I saw.
It's great to see that change. Great to see. Coach Sherman, you've been assisting, as you call it, just helping Marcus here the last couple of years. Explain what that's meant to you. I know your hobbies and I know what you like to do and
I'm not doing.
what you're not doing.
Exactly.
So explain that.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, with the changes of the coaching staff, and at that time, Coach DeCosta wasn't here, and Finn and Curtis and Marcus and I got together and just sort of talked about, who wanted to be the head coach, who was going to do what, and I don't know, Mr. Ackerman approached me about the head job, and I knew I couldn't do that. But I just sort of felt, I'd love to work with Marcus. I mean, as with Coach DeCosta, all these guys played for me. Unfortunately, that tells you how old I am. But, and they decided to put back in what basically I ran, so I was comfortable with it, from the start. And Marcus and I worked well together, and it was pretty smooth. I mean, it's been a lot of fun. It's nice to be back on the sideline.
Now, I texted you last Saturday morning at 8:30. Where are you going? And
Yeah.
you were watching film
Yeah.
at 8:30 Saturday morning. Explain a typical weekend, because I know that's who you are and that's what you do.
Well, I mean, with technology, as Coach Yorse has said, we don't have to drive anymore, which is nice because, like the year we won the regional championship, I mean, some of those trips were 2.5 hours one way. So, the films come when Coach Calder gets all his work done, and because I would complain to him at times about, I need films, and just like with the playoffs, nothing's official till Sunday. So this week we didn't get them till Sunday, and there was, just a typical weekend. Well, I don't know, with the new technologies, whenever you get them, but it's just a lot of work. I mean, we had talked about Crawford as far as being on YouTube. Well, for me to break a tape down on YouTube, I can't go back and forth, and so I said I'm not really interested in that. We were deciding on, who we wanted as far as our films, but it's just, you get it on and fast forward, rewind, and, get stuff on paper, and then try and come up with a game plan as far as how you're going to stop the opposing team.
Yeah, I've seen a few scouting reports, the same ones we had in high school.
Yeah, they are.
Same format.
Yeah.
So you haven't brought up the technology there yet?
So you're saying you could draw a good
Yeah.
circle?
Well, no, their circles are already there. Well, I gotta draw in a couple circles, but, you know, that's up to the defensive coordinator. He can do with them what he wants, you know. So, I just give him the information, and of course Marcus watches as much tape as what I do, so, yeah.
So, Marcus kind of touched on this a little bit, but what problems can Colonel Crawford pose that you see?
Well, again, like Coach Shoemaker had said, you know, we've definitely got to be able to slow down the run, and that's been a problem this year. It was a problem last year. And the physicality, last year when we were getting ready to play Eastern, I told them Monday night, go home and watch the Smithfield Monroe Central 2001, because what you see is what's going to happen Friday night. And I can remember going in at halftime and saying, when I talk about physicality, I think you understand that. You know, so, I mean, you know, the defense is, of course, much better, and statistically, it proves that. But there's been times where we don't do a good job as far as stopping the run. You know, and there's nothing more demoralizing. If you can't shut down the run, you're in trouble. You know, so that's going to be the big key. I'd love to be able, where we get in a position where they're throwing the ball. You know, I think if we get into that position, then we're probably going to be in good shape. Not that they don't have receivers. You know, and we've given up a couple cheap throws this year with that, but, you know, you just got to be able to shut down the run.
Very good. Coach Costa, you without a doubt left your mark on high school football here in the Valley and in the state for certain. Explain some of the friendships and relationships you still have with refs and other coaches. I mean, it's every game I see you out on the field, talking to refs, shaking hands, and the same way with coaches before games, after games.
Well, Rick, you know, I've always said that one of the very nice things about being involved in not only coaching, but being involved in sports is through sports you meet so many people in different ways, whether it be a player, a coach, a referee, a fan, whatever. You meet so many different people, and over the years I've just had the opportunity, although I said the other day that, you know, normally I would come to a game and I'd know all the referees on a crew, and now today I might not even know 2 or 3 of all the referees on a crew, because a lot of those older ones have already gone and retired, so they're not actually refereeing anymore. This past weekend at Shadyside, I knew every single referee, and it was pretty much a veteran crew that had been refereeing for quite a number of years. But it's just making those friendships and meeting those people. In fact, I had another guy who had retired as an official came out on the field, and then he also stayed around and caught me after the game, Chuck Taskelines, who had coached or refereed for a number of years, and he actually did some observing of referees for the OVAC. So it's just really nice that you make those friendships and you run into them here or there. It's just a great thing about sports.
Yeah, I remember when we played Buckeye Local and they had just darn near all their team beyond the numbers at a timeout, and you had texted, I think, Mr. Tolson and said, hey, they can't have their kids out there. Anyway, Drew walked up to the colonel, the side judge there, and he said you wanted to know why they were out past the numbers, and he turned around to Drew and said, you tell Coach Acosta I got this game. And he just chuckled, you know.
Well, you know, you bring that up, Rick, that happened to be an official, one of the very few officials in all my years of coaching, 50 years of coaching. I think I only had maybe 2 flags thrown on me, 15-yard penalties, and he was one of them that threw a flag on me down at Fort Fry when we actually got a piece of the ball, and then we end up hitting the kicker, and they call roughing the kicker. And so I had was hollering actually at the referee that time, Sam Jones, and he turned around, or didn't even turn around, just threw a flag on me. So we had some words. They weren't very kind after the game, but yeah, it's like I say, you just made a lot of good people.
Coach, you already remember, we can't remember what we did yesterday, TJ.
He remembers everything I did.
So Coach, last Friday, TJ had asked you, if you could give your 3 best teams that you coached. And you said, I can't do that, that's just too difficult. Because the game has evolved and changed over the years. Can you explain what you've seen from start to finish when you were coaching?
Well, that's exactly right, Rick. It's, first of all, I never have actually singled out any particular team and said, this is the best team that I've ever coached. Because and all the players could tell you that I said many times, every one of those teams and every one of those players are special and different ways. And so some have different positives than others, and some may have different negatives than others, but yet they've all been special. And I would never single out, because we've had some great ones, and to try to single out one team and say, this is the greatest team, the greatest defensive team, greatest offensive team, that's pretty tough to do, but because we've had so many good ones. In fact, one of the sports writers asked me up in the press box, he said, what was the last time you've been 9-1? I said, I don't know, I can't remember. And so I said, but I got the information home, I can look it up and I'll give you a call. So the next morning I gave him a call at the sports department and told him, and it was even a little surprise to me, I looked it up, we had 10 9-1 teams. So to remember all those and what the years were, you can't, just, back to the point is, we've had so many great teams and so many great players. And to sit around this table, I had the opportunity, and I want to say the opportunity because I was blessed with people like every one of you that are sitting around this table, because I had the opportunity to coach every one of you guys. And that's kind of makes it nice. Last year I got involved in the program more in terms of being at practices and so forth than I was since I actually retired after the 17 season. And of course that last year was shortened because unfortunately I had the accident on the sidelines, 7th game of the year, and then I didn't get to be around. But to be around every day, now as these guys know, and I tell everybody all the time, I go to every practice. I don't say a lot at the practices. I sit on the golf cart. For one reason, I can't stand the whole practice anymore. But I sit on the golf cart and I just observe things. And, then if I see something, I'll say something to some of the coaches. I said something the other day at the meeting, and it kind of went on deaf ears. And Marcus said, yeah, what the hell do you know about coaching, So, he said that in a joking way, because nobody responded. But no, to be given that opportunity, I thank Coach Calder. I remember when he first got the job, my wife and I were in Florida, and he called me, or texted me, and he said, Coach, when are you coming home? And I told him, he said, good, because I got a lot of questions for you. So as soon as he came home, we sat down in my basement and went over quite a lot of things. I already had listed a lot of things that I wanted to tell him, but he has been so kind to allow me to be a part of the program that I started way back when. And it's been great for me because, number one, it gets me out of the house a little bit. My wife, when I first started doing it, my wife kind of got upset. She called me, I didn't answer the phone. And then she left me a text and she said, same old shit as before. And I said, now wait a minute, I retired after the 17th season. And for 5 years, we were kind of locked hand in hand together. I said, we need a little separation. It's good for me to get out, whatever. But I really enjoy being at the practices. I really enjoy being around these guys and the players. That's what it's all about. To be around the coaches and the camaraderie that the coaches have, the things that go on, not only on the field, but in the coach's office or whatever. You just can't replace those times. And I could say something great about everybody here, except maybe TJ. TJ and I haven't known, but I could say even TJ. I could say something about everyone but I'm not gonna expound on that right now because we don't have the time, about what you guys have meant to the program and what you've done as far as players, and then now as coaches, so.
Yeah, as you mentioned, we've all been through this program with you as a head coach, and there's no doubt we're all sitting here at this table with you because of you, so.
Well, thank
you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, we've never lost the love for the program, you care for the kids.
Well, that means a lot, and I found out what that meant to so many players last year when I got hurt. I had so many of you guys and so many other people, reach out to me when I was in not too good shape and couldn't walk and for 3 months. And that was kind of a bad time, but the players and everybody reaching out. And I had one situation, I'm in the care center. After I got out of 2 weeks at the hospital, I came to the care center in Woodsfield, got tremendous treatment there. And one of our ex-players, and I don't think you'll mind me saying this, but it was Travis Jones, and he is the head custodian in charge of maintenance up at the care center. So he would stop by my room kind of on a daily basis, and we'd chat. When I first got there, he had everything. He had a TV, smart TV hooked up, and he had a football game on it when I came in. An MC pennant behind my bed, and had big, all kind of goodies and stuff there, just treated great. But he said to me one day, I said to him, Travis, I need you to do me a favor. He said, what's that, Coach? I said, that big chair is here, recliner. I said, it's too far back and I can't, against the wall, I can't put it back for him. Would you move it out for me? He said, yeah, I'll be glad. So he moved it out, and I said, Travis, thank you, I appreciate it. He said, Coach, you don't have to thank me. We as players need to thank you. And the one thing he said that was really uplifting, he said, what you did, Coach, for us is you made men out of boys. And, that really hit home. And I had a lot of people from everywhere reach out and say nice things. And so that was kind of uplifting. And I needed that at that time because I wasn't in too good shape. But
before they shut the doors on that squad, you want to know how much time was on the clock.
Yeah. And then the next question was, did we win? Yeah. Did we win? Yeah.
All right, Coach, so you've coached a lot of 10-0 teams, and you talked about the 9-1 teams you coached. What's different with this team here? Is it experience, leadership, tradition? What's brought it back?
Well, I think that first of all, it's great to see the program get back to what it was in previous years. What everybody expected, and I think that's evident by the people that come to the games, the excitement in the community, all the things that meant so much to our program before and made it what it was, is now back. And that's as a result of these coaches sitting around the table here and what they do on a daily basis. And, but it's leadership from the top down, from Coach Calder right down through all the coaches, and then that permeates out to the players. And I think the players, know what they're expected to do, and they know what the final product needs to be, and that's to win football games. And the last 2 years, it's been, last year we're 6-4 and made big strides, and then this year 9-1, and in the playoffs again. So yeah, I think it's what people expect, and all these guys can tell you, including yourself. You're sitting in a locker room. I said many times, we just don't want to win. We just don't hope to win, but we expect to win. When we take that field, we expect to win. Now, did we win every game? No, but we won more than our share. And that's exactly, if the players understand what the expectations are, then they know what they have to work for every day. And I asked these kids the first day of practice this year, I said, what are you willing to do? Are you willing to pay the price and do the things that it takes to be good the first day of practice? And they responded, and they've done a great job. And but task is not over yet and finished yet. You know, we gotta continue to go and take the next step, but right now we're in the big dance with everybody else, and we just gotta make sure that we continue to stay there. And I told one of the players today, he was in earlier, and him and I were in anyone's ear, and we talked about that, and I said, well, you know, the thing is, you're fortunate of all the schools that play football in the state of Ohio, you're one of, you know, very few that get the opportunity to be in the playoffs. Now you gotta take advantage of it, because all those other schools that are not in the playoffs, they're turning their equipment in. Their season's over. Their senior year is done. And now you guys have an opportunity to prolong that thing and keep going. And I said, because, you know, whoever doesn't win this week is going to be packing it in, and it's going to be half the teams that are involved in the playoffs to begin with are going to be cut in half. And then it's going to be cut in half again, we'll get down to 2. And we've been there, you know, a lot of you guys have been in those locker rooms where we had great seasons and played our hearts out and had, you know, played your heart out in a playoff game and we lose. And I said there at that time was, you know, it always has to end that way unless you win the state championship, because there's only 2 left at the end and then there's 1. And, but the thing is, you have the memories of all the accomplishments and things you've done, just like this year's team. You know, they're 9-1. Nobody can take that away from them. It'd have been nice to have a 10-0 season, but you know, 9-1 is a daggone good season, and no one will be able to take that away from them regardless of what happens. But it would be nice to see these guys. They're a nice group of young men, and they seem to get along good together, and they play well together, so it'd be nice to see them continue. And I say the same thing about the coaches. It's nice to see the coaches all on the same page and get together and work together and be the leaders going forward so that these kids can see.
Yeah, perfect. You know, 2 years ago, Coach, meets the team, you sat right over my shoulder here and gave that team one job, and that's to turn this damn program around. Remember it like it was yesterday. And you've got a powerful voice in this program, Coach, so thanks for all you've done. Fellas, that's all I have for you. You guys got anything to add? None?
Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Wish you guys the best of luck tomorrow night.
One thing, Rick, thank you for what you have done in coming back and reinstituting this coach's corner that we used to have on a weekly basis, and the time that you and Coach Carter put in to do this and bring the kids. That's important. That's, you know, I told Coach Carter many times, I said, you know, I kind of created a lot of things for myself that caused more work, but I always felt doing those extra things, little things, made the program special. And this is one of them. I mean, these kids might not agree and say, yeah, we really want to come in and be on the show, but yeah, I mean, it's important to them. You know? Yeah. So, and it's important to people to see. You'd be surprised how many people watching this show. Yeah. You know? So
we asked those seniors last week at the end of the show if they enjoyed it, because most of them are on the place.
Yeah.
And then the last episode they were on as a group, and they all enjoyed it. As a matter of fact, my wife says there's a couple of classes at Monroe Central that allow them to watch it in the morning. So.
Well, with Coach Calder and YouTube, I mean, it's even different than whenever we were back in the day doing it, because
definitely.
And these kids
know
know
all the time.
like they kind of know what you're going to ask them. When Coach had it, you just sat in the chair, you had no idea.
Come up with the right answer.
True test.
But thank you, Rick,
Yeah.
and thank Coach Calder for doing that. It's actually special.
I appreciate you guys spending your evening with us, and wish you nothing but the best tomorrow night against Colonel Crawford, and hopefully we'll see you guys week 2.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll go over a few of the highlights from the Shadyside football game. Corbin Farnsworth was a strip sack of the quarterback.
Corbin does a great job of getting around the edge and to get the sack.
Tucker Howe hits Cooper out for a big pickup on first down.
Logan has a great block on the outside, allowing Cooper to get some yards.
A.J. Rudder down to the 5-yard line.
We get a great down block from Andrew and Corbin, and AJ runs it down to the 5.
A.J. Rudder with the first Seminole touchdown of the night.
Again, great down blocks, and AJ punches it in.
Jonah Morton with a tackle inside the 20.
Great hustle by Jonah to get down the field and get the stop.
Owen Howard with a big hit at the line of scrimmage.
Owen shows off his physical play with the big hit.
A.J. Rudder with an interception.
Tyler Whitaker does a great job of reading the screen, and AJ dives in for the interception.
Tucker Howe with a Seminole touchdown around right end.
Tucker runs through a few arm tackles and gets into the end zone.
Cooper and Ashton get the tackle for a loss.
Cooper does a great job of reading the play and getting the tackle in the backfield.
Cooper with a 71-yard punt return for a touchdown.
We get some good blocks. Cooper finds the lane and takes it the distance.
Cooper takes the short pass for 22 yards.
We get some great outside blocks from Corbin and Logan, and Cooper does the rest.
Tucker Howe picks up the Seminole first down.
Great blocking up front allows Tucker to get the first down.
Tucker to Chance for a 34-yard touchdown reception.
We run play action, and Chance runs a great route, and Tucker throws the perfect ball.
Jonah Morton with another great special teams tackle.
Once again, great hustle and contain from Jonah, and he makes the tackle.
A host of Seminoles with the tackle in the backfield.
We get a great push up front and get the tackle for a loss.
A.J. Rudder with a nice gain off right tackle.
Great blocks from the line, and AJ picks up 11 yards.
Tucker runs it in from 29 yards out.
Tucker does a great job of following his blocks and then shows off his strength at the goal line.
Tucker Howe with the Seminole first down.
Andrew Pickenpaul does a great job at hooking the end, allowing a big gain by Tucker.
Corbin takes a big hit but holds on to the ball.
Corbin does a great job at settling down in the soft spot and then holding on to the ball.
Tucker to Chance for their second touchdown of the evening.
We run play action again, and Chance has another great route for the easy touchdown.
A.J. Rudder with a 43-yard gain.
AJ follows his blocks and makes a great run down the sidelines.
A.J. Rudder punches it in from 3 yards out.
AJ runs hard for his second rushing touchdown of the night.
Logan Powell punches the ball out and falls on it for the recovery.
Logan with the heads-up play, great hustle, and smart football.
Wyatt Cohen with a 38-yard field goal.
All of Wyatt's hard work this year is paying off. It could have been good for another 10.
When we return, we will preview this week's opponent, the Colonel Crawford Eagles. We're back, everyone. Coach, this is it. Brand new season starting tomorrow night. Week 1 of the playoffs. I know you guys watched plenty of film on Colonel Crawford. They're 8-2. They've won a lot of football games, put a lot of points up. They do have 2 losses, but those were to very good football teams as well. Those teams are actually in the playoff too. So tell us a little bit about them.
Yeah, like you mentioned, they have a couple losses. They're 8-2, but both of those losses, like you mentioned, coming to teams that are in the playoffs, and very good teams at that. One's a Division IV team, so very good team, physical. They don't have a lot of seniors. They're kind of young. I think they only have about 5 seniors, but kind of a younger team. But they're very physical. They like to run the ball. They like to get the ball to number 21 is their main weapon. He's a running back. They get him listed, I think, 6 foot 205. A decent sized kid, runs the ball very hard. Number 5 is also a running back, pretty good, solid kid put together. But that's their thing, is running the ball. I mean, they can throw it too, don't get me wrong. Quarterback's pretty decent. They kind of run into 2 quarterbacks. One of them's a little bit more mobile, one of them throws the ball a little bit better. They've been doing that all year long. They haven't stopped doing that, so it's not like, I mean, it's a coaching decision of doing that. No one's playing any better than the other. But no, I mean, they're definitely, it's a playoff team, you know what I mean? So it's a playoff ready team. This team, I think in the past 4 years, has the most wins they've ever had in school history. So this coach must have those guys playing well. So we got to be ready to go, ready to match their physicality, ready to match their intensity. And I expect our kids to come out being intense. I mean, you know, playoffs is win or go home. There's no second chances. There's no talking about next week. You know, for our seniors, we've talked about many times, a great group of seniors. You know, this is it. You know, if they don't win this game, you know, very, very few kids leave this program and go play college football. We're a small school. So as far as putting on pads and actually playing football, you know, this could be the end of their career. And I think they know that. I think they can feel that, and they don't want that to happen. They want this season. We talked about having a magical season in the beginning. So far they've had that, and they want to keep it going. You know, this is kind of like you mentioned, kind of the second season when the playoffs start. So now I look for our kids to come out fired up, ready to go, and you know, we'll see where it goes. But we're evenly matched, I think, so it should be a great game.
Yeah. If you remember, Coach, you know, last year against South Galley, first round of the playoffs, you know, we were in a dogfight for most of that game before we pulled away and won. And all these teams moving forward, they're just going to get better and better and better. And you know, I think these kids, each one of these kids in here, remember what happened when we went to Eastern and played them. And you know, they were a physical football team.
Yes,
and
they sure were.
And as each team goes on, you know, their opponent gets a little tougher.
It sure does.
And with toughness comes physicality. So these boys are going to have to be ready tomorrow night for sure.
Yep.
Let's take a short break here, folks. When we return, we'll go over some game information for tomorrow night. Welcome back, everyone. Just a few items I want to make everyone aware of. Tickets for tomorrow night's Division 6 Region 23 playoff game against Colonel Crawford will be $11 for adults and $5 for students. Tickets can be purchased at the gate or online. Being an Ohio High School Athletic Association sanctioned event, the Switzerland, Ohio Local School District season passes, parent, student sign-ins, etc. will not be accepted this playoff game. Very important reminder, at the game, air horns, speakers, and other powered noisemakers are prohibited. You are not allowed to have those inside the gate. Shakers, cowbells, etc., something handmade, those are permitted. The gate will open on Friday at 5:30 p.m. There will be 50-50 ticket sales. The sideliners will be serving sausage sandwiches, once again outside the field house starting at 5 p.m. The football moms will again be selling programs at the gate, also be selling apparel at the home gate as well. Just reminder, please do not bring any air horns. You can bring any homemade shakers, cowbells, etc. That's very, very important. Coach, you got anything to add?
Yeah, well, first of all, before I get into Colonel Crawford, you know, I hope the stands are packed. You know, you mentioned no air horns, things like that. I hope the old school milk jugs and cowbells, and I hope to see, you know, the end zone full of people, because that's what these kids love seeing that. I know, you know, when we played, we'd walk out, and it was always like that It was kind of a given, but it's more like that now than it has been, you know. But I hope, because that's a home field advantage.
Oh, absolutely.
So I hope we can pack the stands, make some noise, make as much as you can make without the air horns, things like that. But now I look for, you know, just a fun game, and I know we had the coaches on earlier. You can't even imagine how much I appreciate those guys. They're all, you know, all great guys. We get along. I think that's what makes the staff good staff, because, you know, we can just sit there and bullshit, you know, hang out and things like that. So, but the thing is, they love football, but there's one thing they love more than football is Monroe Central football.
Yeah.
Like, they have passion for this team, this program that not too many people have. So I just want to thank them, and just been amazing to be able to coach with those guys for a couple of years. So, but on to Colonel Crawford, you know, it's like I mentioned, they're a tough team, and it's the playoffs. So we've got to step up. We've got to be ready. We can't come out flat. We can't come out and, you know, last year, first round, I think we went down 14-0. We can't do that against this team. They're a good team, so we've got to come out ready and give them a fight. And, you know, I think if we execute and we play our game plan, we'll be just fine.
Yeah, absolutely, Coach. You know, it was great having the coaches all with us tonight.
It was.
All as one, you know. It's kind of hard not to get too emotional there, too. You know,
Yeah.
Coach Acosta was going into, you know, he coached every one of us sitting around the table, you know.
Right.
And I told him that we're here tonight because, you know, what he's done for us.
100%.
That's exactly why everyone still loves this program, and they still love this team. We wish these players nothing but the best of luck.
Yeah.
There's no doubt in my mind. I've watched a little bit of film on Colonel Crawford. I think Monroe Central is a better football team. We got to go out there tomorrow night and prove it.
We sure do.
So, okay, everyone. I want to thank everybody for watching once again. And as always, we'll see you next Thursday night to go over the game against Colonel Crawford, and provided we get a win, folks. And we sure hope so, and we expect to. We'll go over Week 2's Division 6 Region 23 playoff game. Go Noles.